It's time for today's international paper review, and Florence VILLEMINOT is with us. We're going to start off with the mysterious case coming out of Israel. Authorities admitting that they imprisoned an Australian-Israeli man under a false identity for security reasons, they're saying.
That's right, and as you can imagine, it's getting a lot of attention in the Israeli press. We're going to look at a very harshly worded article in Haaretz that talks about this man, prisoner X, who was found dead in his cell in December 2010. Now, he was identified by Australian media as being Ben Ziguier, and they claim that he was also working for the Israeli Secret Service, the Mossad, and that he had several identities. Now, Haaretz says this story is not about his double identity. It's a classic story of Israel's failure. It says it's about how Israel's most sensitive government agencies are not functioning, and according to Haaretz, those to blame are the Israel Prison Service, the Justice Ministry, the courts, and Mossad. Now, meanwhile, The Guardian interviews a man named Jason Katsoukis. He's an Australian journalist who discovered that Ziguier was a spy after he was tipped off by an anonymous source. Now, he says at first he thought this story was completely outlandish, but he followed it up and he found that Ziguier and two other Australian Israelis were working for a front company set up by Mossad in Europe that was selling electronic equipment to Iran. He ended up confronting Ziguier before he was arrested. Ziguier denied that he was a Mossad agent, but was very mysterious about everything, and in fact this whole story is very mysterious, and I'm sure we'll hear more about it in the days to come.
It is a very mysterious story, a very strange one. Now, moving on to another story, the Arab Spring getting some attention as countries in the region celebrate the second-year anniversary of the popular uprisings there.
That's right. Ashar al-Assad talks about the memories of January and February and points out that over these last 2 months, Tunisia, Egypt, Libya, and Yemen are all commemorating the second-year anniversary of the Arab Spring. And it points out that 2 years later, all these states share the defects of political instability and deplorable economic situations. But it says don't lose hope. Change in society is not a question of 1 or 2 years. It can take generations. It says that transitional periods are long and painful. And while we're talking about the Arab Spring, there's an interesting interview by Tunisian President Moncef Marzouki in the Figaro today. And he lashes out against French journalists who he says are very quick to compare democratically elected Islamist political parties like Ennahda in Tunisia to Islamist rebel fighters fighting in the north of Mali. And he says it's time to stop this semantic confusion.
Okay, North Korea still making waves after their nuclear test, of course.
That's right. There's a cartoon in the International Herald Tribune today by Shapat where you see Kim Jong-un blowing fire, but he's not blowing fire, he's blowing a nuclear mushroom cloud. Perhaps that means he's playing with fire, and meanwhile, a very annoyed and slightly singed Xi Jinping looks on.
Another story coming out of Iran, bloggers picking up on some seriously bad government photoshopping. The
right. This is in The Independent. I think you could call it a major Photoshop and PR fail. Now, you have to go back to February 2nd. Tehran unveiled the Quaher 313, Iran's latest wonder jet. That you can see a photo of it on the bottom there. But experts that analyzed this photo said that it couldn't actually fly. It was too small and it appeared to be made of plastic. So Tuesday, a state-run news agency released another photo of a jet flying over very mountainous scenery. But bloggers pointed out that that was the exact same photo that was used back in February, and it was a really bad Photoshop job because the angle of the plane, the light and the shadows were all the same as the original photo. The Independent says that this is not the first time that bad Photoshop has been called out, and it takes a look at other famous photos that were touched up. For instance, this one, when a former Egyptian president, Hosni Mubarak, visited Washington in September 2010. The official photo is on the left there, where Obama is in front. The photo on the right is the one that was published in Egyptian press, where Mubarak is in front. He's leading the pack there.
I could have done both of those at home, I think. Finally, Valentine's Day. USA Today taking a look at an unusual and very lucrative market.
That's right. I don't know if you have any pets, Stuart, but
you have a cat?
You have a cat? Well, maybe that'll be a lucky cat if you're like Americans. According to USA Today, 1 in 5 Americans plan on giving their pets Valentine's Day presents. They're going to spend a collective $815 million on their cats, dogs, and fluffy animals. There's one lucky dog, for instance. But according to one pet analyst, don't worry if you forget to give your pet a gift, because they don't know it's Valentine's Day. Just don't forget to give your wife a gift.
Yeah, no, I'll remember that bit. Perhaps I'll give the cat one tomorrow. But perhaps a heart-shaped pillow. Perfect. Flo, thanks a lot. Flo VILLEMINOT with the International Papers on France. That's the news from us for now. More, of course, coming up very shortly. Do stay with us.